Hi BookTube, it's Amy. So I'm going to try to pick back up with the bookshelf tour that was interrupted yesterday when I rearranged all my bookshelves. So this little shelf here is now in the living room next to the TV here. And so I thought we'd come here because I didn't do what's on these bottom two shelves here. We did do what's on the top. That is the J.M. Barrie, Hugh Thompson little collection there. The Arthur Rackham illustrations as well that we looked at previously. But here is my 25 volume set of Honoré de Balzac's works, translated, the Human Comedy translated into English. This set is from 1900. And it contains the first English translation of Balzac's works by Ellen Marriage and Clara Bell. I believe so. I believe that's all that's in here, based on when it was published and based on comparing the translations in my set to their translations for the works I've read so far. I believe I am correct, but the translator is not listed. So this is a set that I had purchased from a bookstore here in Ottawa, Black Squirrel Books, in the first year of the pandemic. It had been on their shelves there a couple years earlier, and I remembered it and how much I wanted it. And thinking that I wanted to read Balzac, and I also wanted to support the bookshop during a time when by law they were not allowed to be open to customers and they had to do curbside pickup only. I reached out, asked them if they had it. They said that they did, and I purchased it and brought it home. And I admit, I've read At the Sign of the Cat and the Racket, which is a collection of shorter works. I've read Volume 2, A Study of Woman. I've read almost all of Volume 3, A Marriage Settlement. There's one work left in there I need to read. And I've read Beatrix, about half of that volume of Volume 4. But there's still so much to go, so much enjoyment here. In the past, I've read part of Lost Illusions. I've read Cousin Betty. I've read Old Goriot. I've read, it was either Provincial Parisians or A Distinguished Provincial at Paris. I think I may have read both of those. I certainly owned both of those in the past. I know that I read all the way through one and part of another, but I couldn't tell you which of those volumes it was now. I've read little bits and pieces here and there, but most of it is still unread. And let's just pull a random volume off the shelf and have a look at it. I'm just noticing there's some dust here. I thought I'd vacuumed up all the dust from moving things, but apparently I missed some, so I'll have to bring the vacuum or the Swiffer back around here. So they're just, nice volumes. The paper is good, the font is good, very reputable translations, but not something from a well-known publisher. This is from Peter Felling Collier and Son in New York. And so that is a nice set here that I really love. I love it, and I think it'll stay in my book collection forever. Moving down here, we have the novels of Balzac. This is duplication in my set, but I didn't really want to part with it when I got the Balzac set, just because I do like this 1899 little collection very much. And then I have the classic Stefan Zweig biography of Balzac, where you can hear everything about from his coffee habits to his writing habits to how his parents supported or tried to squash his writing career early on. It's a great biography, some great photographs and illustrations in here, published in 1946. And somebody has left this little leaflet in my copy. And then here we have the bulk of my Hugh MacLennan collection. Hugh MacLennan was one of my very early collecting interests. I have some of the first editions of his novels here. Two Solitudes in poor condition. The Precipice, which is one of my favorite novels by him. The Watch That Ends the Night, Return of the Sphinx. And I think that's all for my first editions. I've got Seven Rivers of Canada, which is a nonfiction work that's actually signed by MacLennan in 1980. He published the book in 1961. And I've got a couple of collections of his essays, The Scotchman Returns and other essays. These are all, personal in nature, about his time teaching, his time as a student, related to his writings. Cross Country, it's another collection of his essays. And I have A Writer's Life, which is a biography of MacLennan by Elspeth Cameron. And then I have some recent reprints of his novels, Each Man's Son, Voices in Time, Return of the Sphinx, The Watch That Ends the Night, The Precipice, and I ran out of space here. So the copy of Two Solitudes is kind of tucked back there for now. I do have bookends coming for this shelf because now that it's in a different space, there's nothing to keep these books from tumbling off the edge. And then on the end here is one of his early attempts at writing titled Man Should Rejoice, which was unpublished up until a couple of years ago, when it was pulled from his manuscripts and published in this critical edition. And I have to say, it's not great. It's not great. I can see why it wasn't published while he was alive. But I really need a bookend there. But that's my little collection here, now moved to the main room of the apartment. And I do have to say, it is kind of nice to have books out here again, just because of how I reconfigured things. There's no longer space in the bedroom for this shelf, and so it's as far away from the outer wall and as far away from the windows as I could manage. But that's all for today.